So here we are on one of these Bob Gilmore trips to Long Island and every place else I seem to end up. We got Gary DeCarlo in the back seat and photographer Bill DeFelice, and we're off to see WLNG radio today in Long Island, Oldies 92 and Gary Sapien. So we're gonna hop the ferry and see what kind of fun we can have today, and then we're gonna hit a couple wineries so I can buy some wine to bring back home. So here we are, we're just arriving in Sag Harbor, New York at radio station WLNG. Look at that lovely truck there.
Hey, it's Richie Valens, of course. Out of 1958 here at 92.1. WLNG.
Look at that cool bus in the back.
The oldie station, WLNG.
And let's take a look and see what we've got for this weekend.
So what do you think? I think we should go in. Let's go in. So this is that's the former AM, huh?
Yep.
Wow. Wow. And you kept it going. I gotta shoot a little video here. This is great. There's Gary Sapien.
Here I am.
Just like that.
Yeah.
And your satellite dish, you still pull networks off of that, I guess? Your feed?
Brian
Yeah.
can answer that.
Yeah.
NBC must come in somehow.
Wow. Oh, this is great. Studio is in there. This is a bus. This is what I call a bus.
Very cool. Live remote.
You gotta like the license plate too. Look at that.
We don't require the computer. Oh, of course, yeah. So you can either use the bass on the Marty or the tie line.
Wow, this is great. This is fantastic.
And I had lots of times with autogram boards. I used to engineer
from WSHU, I think, Paul, the twin of it.
And you know where that came from then?
And where?
That came from my home at WMMM.
Oh, maybe.
That's where SHU got theirs when Mark Graham donated MMM to them.
Wow. Wow. Look at this. Last event was Mardi Gras, I bet. Got the beads there.
Oh, it probably was a parade.
Wow.
Wow. How old's the bus?
1993, I think it is.
Okay.
It's long.
Yeah, 40 feet, 40 footer. The one before this was 35. This one's a little longer. We have a
had copper that I don't think you would necessarily want to put into your house. It was very
It's tough to find a good Western these days, huh?
buying a propagation system.
Let's go back to 1958. The Olympics top 10 hit Western movies here at 92.1. This is WLNG Sag Harbor, Long Island, New York. It is 12:30 right now and 63 degrees out there. And we got a special guest in the studio right now. I want to say a good afternoon to Gary DeCarlo. How are you doing today, Gary?
I'm doing fine. A little under the weather with a cold, but I'm doing all right.
Yeah, there's a little bit of that going around. Anytime the seasons change, that happens, I think. Now,
Well, this was a gift from my daughters.
it always happens that way, right?
Yeah.
Oh, kids, the gift that keeps giving in that way. Anyway, you guys came down to visit. You brought some friends down. Came down from Connecticut to visit the broadcast house here in Sag Harbor, right?
Absolutely.
And whereabouts in Connecticut do you hail from, Gary?
Shelton.
Shelton. Now, you have a little bit of a story that we can share with some of the listeners here on WLNG. We're part of a band with a song with the #1 hit that we play here at the station, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
It's been around for a couple of years.
Just a few. #1 in the fall of '69, correct? And that was Steam.
Yes.
Now, that was an interesting story because you had been involved in bands and making music before this hit record came out, correct? Obviously.
Yeah, I played the club circuit and colleges and stuff with a few bands, and large horn bands, as a matter of fact, and kind of paid my dues, I guess you could say. And then I started going into New York, and that's when the whole thing started as far as the Nana situation.
That's right. Now, when did you start playing music, like at the clubs and on stage and whatnot, professionally?
Well, I started playing drums at a young age, and I was involved with groups from when I was about 12, 13 years old.
Because there's a big drastic change between the type of music that would have been made in the early 60s, and then by the time 1969 and Steam came out with this.
I was also in a doo-wop group. We had 3 names at the time that we recorded under: the Glenwoods, the Chateaus, and the Citations.
And now, how did this song come about? I know it's probably told the story a million times.
The song was written a few years before, and it was just called "Kiss 'Em Goodbye." It was a blues shuffle. And I had cut 4 sides for Mercury Records, and the company felt that they were all A sides. So my A side, which I believed in, was Working on a Groovy Thing.
Okay.
And the Fifth Dimension beat us by 1 week to put it out. So we had to go back to the drawing board. And that was, they felt that Sweet Lauralee, which was written by Larry Weiss, was the side to go with. It was a ballad, which I didn't really want to lead with a ballad, but the company wanted to do it, so we needed a B-side for that. So I said I would like to do Kiss 'Em Goodbye. And we went into the studio that night, and the chant was born that night. It wasn't part of the song. We were going over it on the piano, me and Paul Lecca, and he had the chant all na-na, na-na-na-na, na-na-na-na, na-na-na, goodbye. So
there's a hook there somewhere.
Yeah, so I threw the hey-hey in, and that's the way it was. We went in at 7 o'clock that night, and by 5 in the morning, it was done just the way you hear it on the radio.
That's terrific. Let's take a quick listen here right now. Cool. Oh, yeah, no pressure, right? We'll just have some fun with it. Are you doing anything now? Are you recording anything now?
I have a few things going. I'm doing a show in Jackson, Tennessee next month, and then I'm doing something in Ohio the following month. I was booked for Oldies Cruise coming up in 2014. And little things. I'm also going to be at a Brady Bunch Monkeys convention.
Oh, jeez.
You know, which I did a Monkeys convention in March of this year.
That sounds like some
And it was met a lot of people. It was fun. You know, a lot of nice people too. And I did Chiller Theater that has an expo thing that they do. That was interesting.
Somebody in Italy is listening.
We got Gary DeCarlo in the studio right now, member of the group Steam. There's their #1 hit in 1969, 69, Hey, Kiss 'Em Goodbye here, 92.1. Now we're talking a little off the air there, and Gary was telling me you've got a couple gigs coming up, right?
Yeah, I'm doing something in Jackson, Tennessee. It's an oldie show with I guess Ron Dante is on it. There's quite a few people, which I can't remember all the names. And I'm also doing something in Ohio. There's the lead singer of The Outsiders, Sonny Garrissey.
Okay.
Yeah, I guess he had a problem in his head, and he's in a wheelchair. So they asked if I would do a benefit, and I said yes. So I'll be doing that also. And I have a few other things coming up. I have a oldies cruise coming up to Bermuda in September of 2014. I have a Brady Bunch and Monkey Convention, which is supposed to be here in Long Island. I believe it's in August of 2014.
And you hail from Connecticut, so it's real easy to come over here, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And you said that you used to come out here many years ago. You'd go out and visit in Montauk,
yeah,
right?
absolutely. We loved it here. It was great. Very peaceful, and where we stayed, it was just great. The kids grew up, and they just kind of outgrew it. They didn't have a lot of kids their age anymore. So then we started going to the Cape.
I see. Well, it's very similar to the Connecticut shoreline to what we have down here too.
Absolutely.
So it's very comforting. But anyway, Gary, we want to thank you. Appreciate you stopping by today.
Thank you.
And continue to keep in contact with us, and I wish you the best.
Thank you.
All right, there's Gary DeCarlo. DeCarlo checking in with us right now. It's 12:39. That's your WLNG time on this Friday morning. Dan Dupre has local news of local interest in about 5 minutes.
Cut that
What station did this go on? What year did this station go on the air?
63.
Okay.
Hey, I got a limousine. I'll give you a ride. Joe Walsh from 1973. WLNG time is 10 minutes after 1 o'clock on this Friday afternoon. It's 64 degrees outside. Looks like we've got a nice weekend for us coming up here on the East End. Looks like it's Saturday and Sunday, both days sunny skies, temperatures near 70.
Hi, this is Claudia Plotter, Director of Marketing
AM
for
1600
National
in
Bank.
August 1363, so we have 50 years we just celebrated.
That's why we're reminding you that
antenna
fall
in the back
on the East
is
End
the
is the
old
season for Dan's
WNLC
Papers Best
AM.
of the Best.
Real
And we
tower.
do have the best of every kind of business right
brought
here
down
on
on
the
a
East
barge.
End in our backyard. At
And
B&B, we're
put up.
proud
So
that we've
that
played
was
a
an
role in
original
helping local
14,850.
businesses
What was the original
start up,
frequency?
grow,
14
and
something?
succeed.
1470
We
or
also
something?
support the
Something like that.
nonprofit
So
organizations
the
that make
dog
our
box
neighborhoods
underneath
such
here,
great
the
places
doghouse
to
was
live and
then
work. So on
calibrated
behalf
and
of
shit for
B&B,
it.
I'd like
So
to
that
encourage
was
everyone
carted
to
over
go
from
to
Connecticut and made its way here.
www.dansbotb.com and vote for the local businesses
Robert
that you've
King got into the
nominated in
company
Dan's Papers
in the
Best of
late
the Best
60s.
Reader Survey.
Robert King
Just being
was,
nominated for Dan's
in
Best of the
air-
Best is quite an
aviation.
achievement. Good luck to
And
everyone.
so,
And remember,
right.
vote for
Gotta
all
see.
your favorite businesses at www.dansbotb.com.
So then his money that came into the radio station brought WLNG FM along in the late 60s.
Nice.
And then LNG went, AM went dark in 1997 to raise power for WWRL. A $1.7 million payday to WLNG. We were the most to hold out, I think. We were the ones that were holding them out the most. And then we went out, we bought a bus as a mobile unit. We went out, we bought an electric boat, which you saw in the backyard, and a dock. Wow. So it was not a bad decision. Again, the only thing that was negative is that we really wanted to put Paul's format, beautiful music format, on the AM, split the two off at some point. We got the post for HD. Again, having LNG analog, LNG HD1, and then Paul's beautiful music format HD2. We got the quotes from Harris and everything else, and then the argument was, Paul, we have to put the analog into stereo, because if you have the HD1 in stereo, the station's going to do this. Get into a good signal, you can have a stereo HD1, a mono analog back and forth. But that wasn't really because it didn't make sense. As you said, extra money for how many listeners? Yep. And that's where we ended up investing more into the web stream and everything else. And I told Paul at any point, I said, we can have this radio station go on the internet. Oh, I want to have people. I said, Paul, there's going to be enough people that can listen, on the internet.
He thought what he had was very valuable. He didn't want to be giving it away on the internet.
He didn't want to give it away.
Rip it off.
Looking at it now, it still would have been a better solution than HD.
Now let me ask you a question that everybody I know has the same confusion about. How does Paul City fit into the station? Was he an owner?
Paul City was part owner. I guess when you end up staying here long enough, like Chris and I, we end up owning a piece of paperclip. And that's our ownership into the company, is we own a paperclip. Paul along the way ended up having a part share in the company, as well as Gary, as well as Rusty, as well as Chris's mom and Buckout. She was the treasurer and vice president. He's here as a part of one of the family members. I'm the outsider from the North Fork that just happened to want to do an internship and get into radio. But yeah, Paul certainly owned part of it. He came here in February, full-time February 1964. So that was just a couple of months after. And Paul was here ever since, never left. Was here until his dying day. Pods behind the mic at CCC FM when they were doing all request music, blew out the phone lines numerous times.
Wow.
Rusty was mornings, and then the format changed, then Howard Stern came into CCC. Joe Rickard there. There's Chris's mom, Ann Buckout. There's Gary Sapien, a very young Gary Sapien. Bob Aldrich here. Chuck Mackin, nighttime jock. John Baer, who's become our musicologist, ends up handling the library. There's Paul Sidney there, another photo. This is the front of the old building right there. That's not this part here, that's behind these closets here.
Was that when it was that photo shows a red, but I think I remember it being blue at one point. Was it blue?
It might have been blue.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I remember there was a bumper sticker that I still have. It's got like a little red bird on it. It's
Yes.
black
Yeah,
background.
it's up on our Facebook. Yes.
Yeah?
You can see that too. It's another listener.
I have that
Have it?
bumper sticker at home. Believe it or not, still kept it. He probably still has a couple of
Here's
those.
this one. There, that's for you. That's for you.
Look at that.
You put up with WLNG Radio. We haven't bought bumper stickers since.
Oh, this is great.
There is another set. Yes, but we did have the bird floating around here for a bit. When we end up having the hurricane, it was one of the best things that ever happened to the radio stations because we cleaned out the building.
So here we are, we've visited WLNG, and now we're on the Shelter Island Ferry. We're actually headed into Shelter Island, only to cross past it so we can get to the North Fork, and then we're going to hit up a winery or two, and I can pick up a bunch of bottles to bring home. So here's our view out the window. As you can see, it's nothing but cars, and we're pulling into Shelter Island right now.